So we're really here to talk about movies, organized crime movies to be specific. We were going to limit this top 10 discussion to saying mob films or gangster films, but to include New Jack City, we opened it up
and it's not on my list.
Crime, just so I could include New Jack City. And to like hold you guys no further, because I know you care so much about our list. Let's start at number 10. James, you pop it off as being the best person to make lists ever in any existence in any multiverse.
Whatever.
I just want to see if he can get through just saying his town without running through all of them. So it usually happens.
I'm gonna just say one, and then I'm just gonna move forward. But before I start, I do want to say there was like a common theme through most of these, that as the three black guys on the show, like, I didn't appreciate. I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about.
What historically happened?
I mean, am I supposed to like it? No,
it's not.
I'm bringing it up that I don't like it.
No, it speaks to
it pissed me off every time, as it should. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, it's historically accurate, so I'm cool with it. No, I ain't cool with it.
Fair.
So yeah, I'm with you. I like these movies, but at the same time, it's like, fuck y'all.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm not on a fuck y'all to all of them, but yeah, I'm with you.
No. If you look at it that way, yeah, that's to you. If you look at it that way, that's to you.
Like, I have this strange philosophy that I just wish black gangsters were respected more and treated in the same class that they do the Italian mobsters. That's me. I want equality on that level. Like, that's what I want. Too,
but I would love for them to see me with the hands.
I mean, we need a lot of. There's a lot of other guys.
Oh, right, James.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah. So
what's your number 10?
My number 10 is because my list was butchered before we even started, and I didn't want to put this one on there because I didn't necessarily like the movie that much, but just based upon how rap culture has romanticized this movie.
God damn it!
Yeah, I got Scarface at 10.
Okay. Listen, I'm not. I just want to. I know. Listen, there's been like this recent wave of, Scarface isn't that good. It's not really.
I haven't seen it.
Good. Like, and
like based on me just looking at all the other stuff.
You haven't seen the movie, or you haven't seen the backlash?
No, I haven't seen the backlash.
Sorry.
No, like there's been backlash in recent years. Like Scarface, it became a thing to say that Scarface isn't that good, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think it's a good movie. And you'll find it later on in my list. It's not 10, it's later on in my list. But I'll go ahead and go with what my number 10 is. Let me pull this up because I forgot. Because like James, I had to make some quick alterations to my list. This movie would have not ever made my list. But it did because I had to take out like 4 other movies. And because of that, because of the criteria we said, organized crime apparently does not include some of the great movies I like Wolf of Wall Street. We're going
to be on this damn list, man.
It should be. It will be on my list. I want that to be known, people. I really
Mine too.
Exactly. I really want that to be known.
How else did you find out about Quaaludes?
Look, hold on. What? I didn't live under a rock. Look, everybody on here, just to call this bullshit out, we would have all had City of God on our list if we thought it counted as far as the criteria of this list. We would have all had probably Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street might not have been on mine, even though I think it's a quality movie. Just the mobster aspect, organized crime part of it is not big enough for me. Like, if you ever seen Jordan Belfort in real life, you want to classify that motherfucker as a mobster? Get the fuck out of here. Then beyond
that's what I'm saying. See,
I get it. The organized crime thing. The organized crime.
Organized
I get it.
crime.
Pulp Fiction would have also probably been on everybody's list, and Reservoir Dogs.
Wait,
those are movies that I just want to. Fine. There are movies that we know that are on cusp that don't fit what I think the criteria of this list is, but would have been on all of us if it did. I'm just getting that clarification out there. If it's not on the fucking list, except for James, because he hasn't seen 10 movies, this is where it is, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not like a huge fan of this movie, but it is, it's held in high regard. It's a really good movie, has some legends in it, all that good shit, but it's my number 10. It's The Untouchables.
Okay, I won't argue. It's on my favorites list because I created 2 lists. The list that we're going on, I think, is best, top 10 best mob movies. The Untouchables is number 10 on my faves list, but not on this. I had a tie at 10. I couldn't do it any other way. There's a tie at 10.
But go ahead.
I'm not doing it any other way because there's a movie that I think has to be on here because I think it's disrespected entirely too much.
Okay.
So, Miller's Crossing, Coen Brothers movie, amazing. Gabriel Byrne, fucking just knocking it. John Turturro, all the Coen Brothers, like Francis McDormand, like it. Phenomenal movie if you haven't seen it. Satire, hilarious and shit. The Coen Brothers, they don't miss. Except for the new Hamlet movie, which I won't watch. And I think that was only one Coen brother. And then also tied for number 10 with me is Part 3, Godfather 3, which I think is a movie that, because of the comparison to the first two, looks so shit. But when you actually watch it and you appreciate it for what it is, there's only really one bad part about Godfather 3, and it's Sofia Coppola. And we all acknowledge this. We know this. Right? That's the daughter. She's terrible.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
She's absolutely terrible. But we also know the person that was supposed to play her was Winona Ryder, but then she was engaging in some activities and couldn't do it. So
why did they do Al Pacino's hair like that?
I think Godfather 3 is an amazing movie. The only thing that it hurts is knowing what it was supposed to originally be, which is the title was supposed to be The Death of Michael Corleone. And it was supposed to be Tom Hagen was the main antagonist of Michael, which would have been an incredible film. But they wouldn't give Robert Duvall the same money they were giving Al. So it didn't work out. And that's why we have the Catholic Church. But it's so ahead of its time that way. They're talking about the corruption in the Vatican and the Catholic Church back in 1990. No one was talking about that during that time period. Like, it's so ahead of its time with some of the things that it was doing. And as far as also what it takes to, at that level, to try to go legit, and also seeing what kind of frail, hollow, terrible person Michael had become. Just like a sad old man, to me, gets lost because of how great 1 and 2 are. But I also remind you, Godfather 3 is the most quoted fucking of the Godfather movies, especially on Sopranos. Just when I thought they were out, they keep pulling me back in. That's
like
3.
That's like the number one quote. That is, but that I think that's more recency than anything. But
it's more Sopranos.
Here's my thing with Godfather 3. It's not by all means, a bad movie. When you hear people talk about Godfather, they're like, oh, Godfather 3 shit. I'm like, no, it's kind of like how people talk about season 2 of The Wire. It's like, bro, it's not a fucking bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. If you take it and you look at it in comparison to some of the other shit, it is not bad. It's not on my list. I respect it being on your list. It's not on my list at all, but it's not a bad movie at all. Like you said, like it is very quotable. I like Andy Garcia in it. He's great. Yeah,
he's great.
The little incest I could get out. I could do it.
That's weird.
I was like, why is this like baby Game of Thrones right now? Like, what is
whoa. It ran or it walked so that Game of Thrones could run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, this little thing you got going on with my daughter. Stop it. And I'm like, fam, nah, that's not the conversation you have.
Stop fucking your cousin.
Right. Like, what we doing? Like, and why are you doing this?
My favorite part about it is the criminal organization, International Immobilier. International Immobilier. It's so good.
But no, yeah. Every time they pull me out, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Classic fucking
so good. Oh, and also the end scene, even though Sofia Coppola, there was a part of you that's happy she's dead. Spoiler alert. But then there's a part, Michael on the stairs, screaming, crying. And it breaks my heart. I want to tear up thinking about it. Al kills that scene. I mean, destroys it. The pain in his face is some of the finest acting I've ever seen in my life.
That's fair.
But
all right, so
she was bad in that movie.
She's bad. It was the fucking director's daughter.
Voice, my God, it was.
But amazing director, incredible director, Sophia.
I was gonna say she went on to do like great things.
She's great. She's so great. She's so good.
To do some great shit behind the scenes.
Just don't be in the movie no more.
Winona Ryder would have made that. If Winona Ryder was in that movie, I think it gets elevated and treated a lot different.
Probably, I agree with that. All right, so moving on. Let's go to number 9. I'll start off number 9 with a slight, probably a surprise. Public Enemies. It's my number 9. Johnny Depp.
Well, wait a minute. What the fuck was that face?
He's so in love with Michael Mann.
Nah, fam. This is that face.
This movie is not good. But all right, keep going.
What was that face?
I couldn't believe what I was. My dick fell off. Like it was.
It looked like it.
To be fair, this was not on my top 10 originally, but my other shit got cut out.
Oh my god!
And Casino's terrible.
This is your fault.
Godfather 3
you did this.
Oh,
somebody did this.
So, somebody did this.
Somebody did this.
So Public Enemies is my number 9. It's a very enjoyable movie, and I like it.
All right, I'll go. My number 9 is The Untouchables.
Okay.
So you already talked about it before. So
have you seen The Untouchables?
Yeah.
Be honest. Be honest.
Yes, bitch. I've been spending this whole fucking week watching these goddamn.
Oh, really?
Movies. Well, yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I've been working until like midnight watching movies to prepare for this. You gonna fuck you?
Don't disrespect that man. Don't disrespect that man, KDot.
Oh, fuck you. You were doing it all before the pod started, asshole.
Y'all both were. It's okay though.
It's what you do in front of people. It's not what you do behind. It's how you treat your man in front of people. See, that's the difference.
It's like, don't embarrass me in front of company, bro.
Exactly. You embarrass me in front of company.
Go ahead.
Untouchable. I got a problem with Untouchable. It's not on my list. Number 9 for me is A Bronx Tale. Movie directed by Robert De Niro. Incredible movie. It's just the father-son dynamic, which is at play in a lot of these movies. But I just think he elevates it to a certain degree. What are you doing?
Okay, so I was gonna introduce this caveat. I haven't seen it yet, so I need to see it.
I won't spoil it. There's nothing to spoil.
And so it's been quoted in fucking albums and shit.
It's so good,
and I know it. And I think it's back on Netflix.
Okay,
so I was gonna watch it.
That's the one with the if she unlocks your door, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Bronx Tale is an amazing film, and Chaz Palminteri is amazing as far as a mobster goes. And if you ever watch those videos on YouTube where like GQ and everything, like they do like a firefighter watches the top 10 fire movies, and they do like the mob thing.
Yeah.
Chaz Palminteri in his role as a gangster in Bronx Tale always gets heralded as one of the most authentic portrayals of any mobster. I think it's great, and it's like it's a love but hate letter to that era and the things that were happening. And with Robert De Niro being such a person that's going through this list, he's going to be in so many of these movies, right? The idea that he then got to be behind the camera to do it. God damn it.
Keep.
Then at least a few of these movies.
Black woman. I don't know how I feel about that.
He's the most damn get the fuck out of here.
He like black women. I don't know how I feel about it.
But A Bronx Tale, if you haven't seen it, Keem, you need to watch it.
Okay, well, you start off number 8, sir.
Number 8. This I think it's not my most recent movie on the list, but it's close to being. I mean, it's within the last 20 years. Eastern Promises. Movie Viggo Mortensen about the Russian. What is it? Russian mafia? Russian mob?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
Incredible film. Now, there's another movie in the same vein that because it's Viggo Mortensen and knowing. Are you guys big Viggo fans?
No.
Really? Have you just not seen a lot of movies? Or?
I'm not a big Viggo fan. I like him. I'm just like, I like Aragon. You know what I'm saying? But
I've never seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies. That's my biggest thing that I've never done. But
it's not a big thing. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they age well.
But that sucks to hear. But David Cronenberg also did another movie with Viggo called A History of Violence, which is on my top 10 faves list. That's incredible movie. Yeah. But Eastern Promises was the one. There's a particular scene that takes place in a shower that is one of the most visceral, uncomfortable, incredible things to have ever seen. And it's why I don't revisit the movie that often. But Eastern Promises is another must watch. It is an absolute must watch. Phenomenal movie, and Viggo's incredible. Viggo's one of the best performers, consistent performers, I think, in Hollywood.
No, shout out to Green Book. I'll go next.
Not that movie.
I'll go next, and James, you can go. Number 8 for me, I have a classic. No De Niro, but we go Marlon Brando. On the Waterfront. It could have probably been up a little bit further in my list, to be honest, but it's kind of like my 4 through 8 is like interchangeable to me. just depending on my mood. My top 3 is probably like completely solidified. It wouldn't change. 4 through 8 is interchangeable. But On the Waterfront, I fucking love that movie. I saw that movie for the first time when I was in college, or maybe like a year after college. Saw it in theaters. They were showing it in Savannah. Savannah has this like old movie theater, and they show older films sometimes. And it was just like, I really didn't want to be there. I was going for my girlfriend at the time, and I was just like going because she was like, "Hey, you want to come see this movie with me?" I was like, "Hell no," in my head. But she was like, "But like, I wanted to spend time with her, so fuck it, yeah, I'll go see it." And I went in it like very much like I was going to see like fucking, I don't know, a Dave Chappelle movie or some shit, like I don't know, like, or like a Brian Hooks movie, like a Brian Hooks movie from like the 1990s or some shit. Like okay, I was literally in there like, all right, go and play this little movie. I don't care about. I wasn't as much into film. Well, I hadn't read up on certain film historically at that time. And then like I'm in there like this and everything, and then I'm watching. I'm like, this is some good ass shit. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is 1950. I'm like, okay. Like, oh shit. Like, it's still good. Okay, Brando. And it was very much like that kind of vibe. Like it woke, like I kept elevating, and then after the movie, she was like, I was like, how you feel? And she was like, I was all right. I was like, that fucking was great. That shit was great. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah. So On the Waterfront, great movie, 1954. Again, Marlon Brando. I like it. It's still, again, it's held up over 60 years. So in my opinion. So if you're really into film, I think it's a movie you should check out.
I think it's an amazing movie. It doesn't scream mob to me, so it's not on my list, even though I understand as far as the plot and everything, the boxer, the union and all that, it makes sense. But yeah, it didn't feel enough mobster to me, but incredible film. And Brando, it's one of those movies where everybody knows that Brando's on the Mount Rushmore, right? As far as actors go. And if you need to understand that fully is when you go to something like On the Waterfront. Because I think most people know Brando from Godfather and then probably Colonel Kurtz. But by the time that people don't remember how big an actor he was even before he got those roles. And I think people understand how it is he got to that level. On the Waterfront explains it quite a bit.
Okay.
Who's next?
I guess it's me, right? Number 8.
Number 8.
Kadine's not gonna like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it. You're gonna hate it. It's Casino. I got Casino at number 8.
Why?
And
you just watched this movie for the first time this week.
Yeah, but like I've seen it like in passing. It was like on, but I never really paid attention. So like this one was like I watched it again. I was like, okay, Joe Pesci, my man. Like he really plays the Napoleon complex gangster like to a T.
He killed that.
And yeah, so like Nikki, who was Joe Pesci, and Ginger, they fucked up Sam's whole shit.
Basic instinct, baby.
But at the end of the day, Sam was a dummy. Like
I think that might be the reason I don't feel that movie as much, just because like
everyone's a fucking jackass in that movie.
Listen. So as I'm watching it, right, I'm like, all right, I can kind of get where Sam's coming from, just based on like wearing your heart on the sleeve and not being like exposed to how the world is somewhat. And he's like, all right, you're fucking perfect. I'm gonna trust you, which was dumb. Like I've done that before. So I was like, all right, I've made these mistakes. Not to this degree. And I know when to cut shit off, and he clearly didn't. But it made for a good movie.
If the bitch changed your daughter to a bed to go out party.
No. He should have been gone before that.
While you just hanging out wearing pastel colored suits.
He should have left way before that. I'm even talking about like when you went to the bank for the first time.
Sam Rothstein's a fucking idiot, okay?
He is. But he made a shit ton of money.
Mickey's a piece of shit that deserved to die 10 times over the way that he died in that fucking desert. And Sharon Stone's fucking Ginger is my least likable movie character of all time. I think Sharon Stone is forever on a Mount Rushmore of actresses for me. because of how much I can't watch her in anything. She ruined the legs uncrossing scene in fucking Basic Instinct for me. Because as soon as she done, I'm like, you fucking cunt. Like, it's just, I can't stand it. Which is effective filmmaking, I guess, or effective acting. But under you can't watch Casino without feeling as though this is the most inferior of any of the mob movies. It's like, what's left over from the other movies I made, Martin?
Essentially, what was it, Godfather 3?
No, because Godfather 3, at least so many years passed, right? When Godfather 3 comes out compared to the other.
Doesn't that make it that much more disappointing? That you waited that long a time to come back, and then you didn't do everything.
It's carrying, but it's carrying the same story. Right? So at least I pick up with Michael and the story needs to end, right? So that's what they do with that. Casino is, I can make any movie I want to, and I'm going to make the movie about the start of Vegas. Incredible story about the start of Vegas. And then make this movie about these three assholes. I the entire time on the screen, I'm just like, just go. Why the fuck? Just leave. Can any one of you guys just die? Can you just die?
When he got in the car, he's like, yeah, it's time for you to be out. He's like, nah, I can't leave. And I was like, fam, just go.
And also, Joe Pesci getting head from Ginger is disturbing.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
It is so disturbing.
So Casino to me is one of the worst of the four Goodfellas like attempts. So it's like Goodfellas, and you got The Departed, and you got Wolf of Wall Street, and then you got Casino. Right. It's like
that kind of matches my list. Like that kind of matches my list. So there we go.
Casino just the entire time just feels like a lesser movie.
Yes, it does. Because I mean,
that's why it's so low compared to the other ones that you referenced.
This is here's the thing. This is a top 10. No bad 10. Movies or movies. It's top. There are so many mob movies, but I guess you guys just haven't seen all of them. All right, that's why.
Yeah.
This is my thing. This is my jam. This is my favorite movie category.
Like, I haven't. Yeah, I'm missing a few, and I feel like my list would be different. But also,
but like, fam, like, yeah, like I wanna enjoy it, like, because it is good. These are great movies, right? But it's kind of like my heart just doesn't go into it after like I hear the third time they say, yeah, let's sell the crack to the black ones, and
they don't do that in Casino.
I'm talking about as I'm watching all of these movies. That's the feeling I get. So when I go into a movie, you get what I'm saying?
Do you prefer Frank Lucas? I'm going to sell it to my own people. Is that better?
I'm just imagining James' face when he hear like "spick." Like I know James be pissed. I know James be pissed, bro.
I say this. Ain't nobody say that shit to my face. Nobody say that shit to my face.
I know, James.
Okay.
So my follow-up question to you is: so do you feel the same way when you see when you watch something like Snowfall, for example, or American Gangster, where you black and you selling it to themselves?
That's what I'm saying. Is Frank Lucas worse than the Italians?
Yeah.
But does it bug you the same way? Does it bug you worse?
All this shit bugs me. That's why I'm not heavy into it like you are.
Okay, fair enough.
Like you see what I spend my time watching.
Dog shit. Got it.
Sports.
We on number 7. We on number 7. James, you go.
All right. So my number 7 is The Irishman.
Oh, I didn't think it'd be on your top 10. I love you for this.
Of course it is.
Why would you do that?
Huh?
No. All right. I think it's a terrible movie. Go ahead.
Oh, what? All right, hold on. All right, James, continue.
No, I got to hear why it's a terrible movie, King.
Okay, because going into it, and I think it was the kind of the hype behind it and some of the build up to it, because it's been Scorsese's been trying to make this movie for like 30 years.
Yeah,
been trying to make this movie for like 30 years. All right, so and then he like got Netflix to give him like I don't know, like a lot of fucking money. Like James, I want you to understand this. It was apparently like one of the biggest budgets ever.
It's like 200 or 300 million, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 200 or 300 million. You got a bag.
One of the biggest budgets, right? Okay. And the budget went to, I guess, the de-aging technology.
Yeah,
it was terrible. They tried to do De Niro. They tried to let 77, 76-year-old De Niro play 40-year-old De Niro, and he would go around killing fucking people and doing like this at 45, and he's moving like this.
Hey,
and
fam,
I'm like,
look,
what the fuck is this?
He got a bad back, bro.
What the fuck is
The
this?
supermarket scene is rough. The supermarket, like,
hey, he has a bad back.
Stomping.
Like he was on the verge of death while he was supposed to be killing people, and he's supposed to be a fucking hitman.
Hey, he got a bad back.
It was stupid as shit to do that. That's a dumb way to produce a movie. The concept and everything, the filming, cinematography. I'm not talking about that. That was stupid as hell. He should have just cast some younger people and saved that fucking de-aging money. That was stupid. That's my problem with it. That's why it's a bad movie.
It should have happened like well before.
So I have a counter to your specific argument. Now, I agree. The supermarket scene outside the market after the whole daughter thing where he stomps dude out looks rough as far as like his body compared to what's happening with the face. I counter that by saying there's another movie that's on everybody's list, is Goodfellas. In the scene at the bar where they're stomping out Billy Bats, De Niro looks awkward as shit stomping people out. I just think De Niro's just weird looking as far as doing it. No de-aging or anything is going to help it. De Niro, no matter what age he's in, stomping people out, he looks weird. You know, they do the camera shot where it's looking out and he's doing this like stomping bit where he's like putting his face. It looks weird. It's always weird. That's just De Niro. So I'm saying that it's not necessarily his age in The Irishman. No, it's just De Niro looks weird. It's just De Niro looks weird.
No, it was still the age. It was still the age.
Two things can be true.
He was stiff as shit.
At the end of the day,
that can't be the only reason you think the Irishman is an almost perfect
that can
film.
Very much be the only me.
That was so it's expectations, and you saw it like
took me out of the ifs. Okay, for example, but it just took me out of the film so many times where I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? Like, I'm just like, it just takes you out of this experience that you're supposed to be having. For me.
Did you see it in the theaters or just you see it on Netflix?
Netflix.
I think that also has a lot to do with that. Because I think seeing it on the small screen and seeing that compared to what it looked like on the theater, I will admit, seeing it in the theater compared to what it is I saw at home, I noticed the de-aging a lot more at home watching Netflix than I ever did in the theater. And I'm so glad I saw that in the theater.
Probably. That's fair.
All right. So who's next?
Oh, I'll go.
Hurt to hear.
My number 7, we can go to a popular song by a legendary Atlanta artist. His name is Future. The name of the song is Tony Montana. And so my number 7 is Scarface. I think that's a great movie. You talked about a little bit earlier. I thought Al Pacino was great. I think it's one of his more transformative roles. When you're coming off of like everything he's done in Godfather and stuff like that, he was in what was it, Serpico before that, a couple of other movies, and like he's in Scarface, he kind of plays against type.
Because he's being racist and fucking taking a Cuban's role.
I don't give a shit. As far as his films before that, he plays against like type. And so like it was a very transformative role for him in and of itself. I thought it's an enjoyable movie too. And I just loved his performance. I
don't like Scarface. It's not my favorite Brian De Palma movie. It's not my favorite. I think Pacino's doing fine what it is, but there's a part of me that fundamentally hates how much Scarface is glorified and how much De Palma tries to glorify Tony Montana throughout the entire movie. And he's never somebody to root for. And that's where I think it gets lost, is that I think if you do a good enough job with that movie, you make it so that nobody's ever rooting for him. Like, regardless of how it ends with Tony, everybody knows how it ends. But even before it ends, he almost like, there's a part of you like, yeah, he went out like a man. There's this like bullshit machismo behind it. Like when he gets shot,
look at it, he's like a dummy.
He gets shot like he's a fucking superhero. Like what? Like how many bullets can ricochet through you? He's a piece of, he wants to fuck his sister. He kills his best friend. He's a piece of shit. Sosa to me is the real person to root for anything in that fucking movie. He's just not, there's no part of me that looks at Tony and me like,
Am I the only one that said bitches love Sosa in my head?
Huh?
Bitches
Nah.
No. To your point, KDot, I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying. I don't root for fucking Tony. I just think he had a great performance. But he's not my favorite. I'm a Sosa guy, but I just like his performance as that character. It's like fucking it's like The Sopranos. I don't fucking like Tony. I don't like Tony. People like Tony. I don't fucking like Tony.
There's never been moments where you there's never been moments where you're at least rooting for Tony. So like maybe even a situation to get out of, right? Like there's never a moment where I look at Tony and I'm like, I need to root for you to get through this particular situation. There's never there's never a moment throughout that entire movie, and yet they still him dying in front of the globe that says the world is yours. One way to sort of interpret that is to say that, all right, it didn't mean anything, right? But he did get there. He had the lavish lifestyle. He had all that shit. He crested to the fucking mountaintop. Fam, and it just so happened because
I just came from a funeral.
Now you're gonna let me
and I feel the same exact way. Like so it's you sit there and you're like, I don't even really care what like my folks would do with me after I'm gone. Like,
but see, the thing is, like, but how many street dudes do you know with the mentality of, hey, I might not live forever, but at least I'll get there. And like to me, there's this aspect of what Tony has, which is just like, no, I hate it. And to me, I dissect these fucking movies, right? So like, that to me with Scarface has always
Marlo, that's Avon, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think
that mentality.
But I also think the role of Tony Montana and what he did as far as the gangster archetype in movies, and the fact that it's the last one that we really look at mobster movie, gangster movies as a whole. It's the last one that you really see the guy, the main guy, the head guy in charge, make that run. Everything past that is sort of like you pick one where the capos, a soldier, and follow them. You're not really following the head guy. Because all those movies back in the 30s and everything else, they're about the guy's rise, right? Scarface to me, like, kills it. Like, well, there's another movie that kills it, that kills that era, that's on my list, and I don't know if it's going to be on your guys' list. But the Scarface to me is like the last bastion of it, and I don't like how much I think it had an actual impact on the game out here on the streets. I really do think Tony Montana and everything that character represents was just represents. And there's no lesson really from it. I think that it's like all bad lessons from Tony.
All bad lessons.
Just
what's your number 7?
A movie that is supremely overlooked. I wouldn't be surprised if neither of you have seen this movie. It came out the same time that Goodfellas did, but Goodfellas is Goodfellas. State of Grace. That State of Grace is so 1990. It takes place in New York. It's about the Irish gangs in New York. The cast is incredible. Ed Harris, Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, Robert Wright Penn, John Turturro, John C. Reilly. It's so overlooked. Have either of you guys seen it?
I haven't seen State of Grace. I've heard of it. I know of it.
State of Grace is a hell of a movie. And Gary Oldman's my favorite actor of all time. He's my personal favorite.
I love that for you. No, I love him. No. Shut the fuck up. I'm dead ass serious right now. Like, I'm dead ass serious. I love him.
Okay.
I love him. Like, he plays so many fucking different characters.
And
Gary doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
Disappears in the role.
So many. He is the epitome of transformative acting. Like, you look at him fucking Fifth Element, you look at him in fucking Dark Knight, you look at him in fucking when you play fucking Winston Churchill, like he does
True Romance.
The Rage.
True Romance.
The Rage. The Rage.
Fuck, why isn't True Romance on my list? God damn it. True Romance isn't on my list. That's a problem. Fuck.
Good.
God damn it. Because Christopher Walken seen the True Romance.
Good. I'm glad your list is fucked up too.
Fuck. True Romance is an honorable mention. Not anything else. But God damn it. State of Grace. You get Gary Oldman is just unhinged in this movie. But it's not like unhinged like in Leon the Professional. I said bring them all. Like, it's shit. He's great. But State of Grace is, and Sean Penn is just, come on. Like, that movie, it's so overlooked and doesn't need to be. It came out the wrong time. It's kind of like in 98, Dark City coming out the same time The Matrix did. And then nobody saw Dark City. Have you guys even heard of Dark City?
No.
Alex Proyas. It's a must watch as far as sci-fi, if you like sci-fi. It's just if you're gonna watch it, I'll give you a piece of advice before you
FC Barcelona plays tomorrow. So
okay. So my number 6, I'll just start it off with a quote. Still $5 ass down before I make change. And that is a quote from the great, the legendary Wesley Snipes in New Jack City. New Jack City, I'll be honest, not the greatest movie, really.
It's not good.
It's not the greatest movie.
Rockabye, baby.
I will also be honest in that it's one of Wesley's best performances, and in that time period, I wasn't around. I wasn't old enough to know, but there probably had to be some discussion as to who's better between Denzel and Wesley. And Wesley probably at one point had a run that was better than Denzel. And it was a part of that New Jack City run. And he had it's similar to the Kobe T-Mac type of thing, right? And in the sense that everybody knew Kobe was the best, but T-Mac did enough to have some fans be like, are we sure? Are we sure? Never could get out of the first round though. But
I don't know how T-Mac gonna feel about this.
He should feel great. Wesley was great. They were in Mo Better Blues together. And I could argue you down that Wesley performed better than Denzel in that movie. I could argue you down that. Wesley did Tu Wong Fu. He was great in that. I'm telling you, he had a run. I love Wesley. He's one of my favorite actors. He had a run. And this was a part of that run. He completely carries that movie. You get literally almost any person, anyone else to do that movie in that era, and they can't. You get Don Cheadle, you get Denzel even. It's not going to hit the same. Denzel will carry, but it's not going to hit the same. It's not going to feel the same. It's not going to be as impactful. That's why New Jack City is number 6 on my list. It's a great performance, great quotables by him, and just it's more of an entertaining movie than it is a great movie.
It's bad. Wesley's great. I love that you brought attention to Wesley, but I think the only thing that I think you're missing as far as the Wesley Denzel thing is that during that time period for Wesley, it's not respected enough what he was able to do. But what he ended up doing was, I think he didn't look what Denzel was looking for in that era, which was like the Oscar bait. Yeah. Wesley went and he was our first real black action star. Passenger 57. If people haven't seen that movie,
always bet on black.
Oh god damn, that movie's amazing. Have you seen Passenger 57, James?
Nope, but I am watching.
That's your type of movie, James. You should watch.
Yeah, you'd like it.
Yeah,
but you talk about
so like, I know that bar. So like the thing is, like, I know a lot of these bars, I just don't know where they came from.
I'm just like so Major League is the first time that you really like Wesley. Oh, okay, because he's Willie Mays. But King of New York to me is the best one of his best performances ever. But he goes on this run. This is all between 1990 and 1993. King of New York, Mo Better Blues, New Jack City, Jungle Fever, The Water Dance, White Man Can't Jump, Passion 57, Boiling Point, Rising Sun, Demolition Man.
Damn.
And so KDot. And so before he got like into the Demolition Man is when I'm gonna just do action after that.
Yeah,
he had a run of like, I'm doing some different things.
But that's the thing. But the thing with Wesley is that unless it was Spike getting involved in that era, I'm going to go make the biggest fucking movie I can make. And I think that kind of followed him, whereas Denzel goes on to do more interesting roles, and for those years, even though Denzel has some movies that aren't great, like Ricochet, even though I appreciate it, is not great. But there's but Wesley really goes and he's like the first black action star, but because he's black, they kind of, we're going to stop this for a second. And then he does Tu Wong Fu, and then nobody kind of looks at him the same after Tu Wong Fu, even though I think it's an incredible performance by him. Wesley's supremely underrated.
Patrick, and I forget his name, but he was great too.
Great movie. But the thing with, so I say all that, we had to give Wesley his roses because he motherfucker deserves it. New Jack City is look, Mario Van Peebles. I love your pops, dog, badass and all, great. But there's some shit wrong with this movie. Look, it's Chris Rock's best role, in my opinion. Pookie is transcendent.
Top 3.
Pookie's great. Like the scene where he's detoxing. I showed my girlfriend New Jack City for the first time last week. She's like, I paused it. I was like, You ever see Chris Rock act that well? She's like, no. It's like, there you go. Judd Nelson looks like he walked off the Breakfast Club set. He doesn't belong in this movie. Ice-T goes from cop killer to now I'm the most famous guy to play cops on TV. And it starts with New Jack City. And also the line of the movie, which is, I don't know how to take this line. Ice-T at the end, I want to shoot you so hard, I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard. What?
That is not the line of the movie.
I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard. Dude, what?
Bro, the way he was looking, too. The way he was looking.
The Judd Nelson, he ain't worth it, man. He ain't worth it.
He was like shaking.
Vanessa Williams in Every Time Rockin' Bad Baby. I don't know what accent she's doing in that fucking thing. The Dutta Man, probably my favorite thing because it's Bill Nunn. And Christopher Williams, who plays Akeem, is just bad.
The funny part really about this is like Keem was so hyped or happy to announce that New Jack City was on his list. And then KDot spent the next 10 minutes just shitting on it.
Fuck New Jack. It's fun though. It's so much fun.
I understand that. I just said it's not the greatest movie. I understand that. But it's up here for me.
It's fun. I watch New Jack City all the time. Also, the motherfucker Levert just singing New Jack City out in the cold. Like, are they singing that song on repeat every day? Because like the seasons change. They're just outside. And the impact of the Carter, we don't get Lil Wayne's albums, the Carter without the Carter, like this sort of thing.
All right.
What's your six? Or did you who's six?
I haven't gotten six either. Sorry, I went long on New Jack.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say mine, then y'all can move on to the next one. It's on y'all list. It's probably just higher. So my number 6 is The Departed.
It's my number 6.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So let's discuss. We finally got one that was the same.
Love it. I don't know if I'm gonna love what you got above this, but yeah.
Well, The Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know what I can't use you that. Got above this. If I'm being honest.
I'm solidifying my list. There's one that I already know Keem's gonna hate that I have above The Departed, but let's go.
I already hate whatever the fuck it is because I'll just go ahead and spoilers. Departed's in my top 3, and so I'm set right now.
All right, before you shit on it, let's defend it. Let's defend our position at 6.
Hey, start with your number 5.
Hold on, so we'll discuss The Departed when we get to you, as far as you get top 3.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. So my number 5 is The Irishman.
Okay.
One slot above The Departed. To me, this is Scorsese finally figuring out like fully and having all the boys back, right? Keem can't get over the fucking de-aging, which fine, whatever. But this to me is the magnum opus. This you get Pesci to come out of retirement and is fucking killing it. Killing it.
Again.
You have Pacino finally get to a point where he can stop yelling at us every time that he's on the screen, which has been his problem since Son of a Woman through everything else, where he's no like he feels like he's the character and he just on cocaine the entire time. But
the first time I watched Scarface, the first time I watched The Godfather or Part 2, I didn't know that was Al Pacino.
He's not yelling at you
until he started yelling, and I was like, "Wait, hold on, is that? Oh shit, it's him!"
After 1992, even in Heat, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, Al Pacino's playing Al Pacino, like it's a caricature almost. But he got him to be reserved and in the role again, and then also fucking De Niro, understated, solid acting. My only issues with that movie is, can Anna Paquin have one line of dialogue, please? Beyond that, to me, it's an absolutely incredible movie. The knock on it was too long, and I just think that's for people that don't understand or like movies.
That too. No, it was too long.
I was like, the Godfather movies were long too, but
The Irishman is so good.
But that's a good movie. Did you see Danny Collins, KDot? Have you seen Danny Collins?
No.
Danny Collins.
No.
You should watch that. So it's it's Al Pacino, Jennifer Garner, and I forget my guy's name. I'm gonna pull it up, but it's not like just a great
Bobby
movie.
Cannavale.
It's more of a feel good. Yes, Bobby.
Christopher Plummer.
And it's more of a feel good movie. But for me, it was probably like the first movie in years that you saw Pacino act. And because he doesn't yell at you in that either, so I don't know if it just resonated with him. He plays a retired, like kind of like a retired singer, and he's like reconnecting with his son. It's more of like I said, it's more of a feel good movie. I think it's on Amazon Prime, or Hulu. You can find it somewhere. It's an enjoyable, just a good fun watch on like a Saturday afternoon or some shit. But because I agree with you, that had became one of his criticisms, like Pacino's criticisms, which I would love to do the Pacino versus De Niro debate and break it down by decade one day on here, because I've had this debate many times, and I think surprisingly Pacino got him in one decade that you wouldn't think he did, but I think Bobby D wins it overall. But anyway,
for sure.
But anyway, yeah, so you should watch him in Danny Collins. But yeah, he become like a caricature of himself. And Any Given Sunday, he's kind of like,
but it's good. It's still good.
Yeah, it's still good. But it's like it's just it's just one. And then I don't know when it happened. Maybe it was Righteous Kill or something. I don't remember. But like after like 2002, 2003, 2004, something like that, he just wasn't acting anymore at all. And it was just like, I'm just playing Pacino. So I can respect that.
I can't.
I mean your point. I can respect.
Okay. But in 2019, which I think is the last great movie year we've had, and it was a really good movie year before the pandemic took over everything. He also is my favorite movie that year, which was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Marvin Schwartz, whatever the fuck he's got to say that fucking name. The Irishman to me is one of those movies where I don't think people quite understand how good it is, and will be one that people go back to 10 years, 15, 20 years from now and say, fuck, man, that was a masterpiece. I just think that it dealt with certain themes and the way that it carries the characters. That movie to me is going to get better in time. Maybe not the de-aging technology, which might be hard for some people to get through, but the film itself is absolutely incredible.
Okay. Right. So I'll go with my number 5, American Gangster.
Me too.
You too?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know why the part of this happened? It's because I couldn't have Wolf of Wall Street there.
So it jumped everything?
Same.
But did you jump? You just slot it in?
It's probably like 7 or 8.
No, I'm saying if you couldn't put something in, does this mean that this is where you're going to put the other movie, or you just everything slotted up?
Everything slotted up for me.
Yeah.
It sounds like he just, this doesn't work, so I'm going to plug this in here at this number.
No, it's worth everything.
All right, this is affirmative action. Go ahead.
But yeah, so this is not affirmative action. I enjoy this movie. Denzel. We were just talking about Denzel and Wesley. One of Denzel's good performances. I'm a big. I love Gladiator.
He doesn't.
I love Gladiator, and I love Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe in American Gangster is really good. Like, we talk about people having runs and like stopping acting and stuff like this. If you look at like Russell Crowe's like IMDb after like American Gangster, it was a little while. It was a little while before he really like did something just like great. He was in Man of Steel, which was good, and I loved him in Man of Steel. But he took it felt like he took some time off from acting.
Hold on, I don't know if I agree with that.
That's fine. But I love Russell Crowe and Denzel in this, and even T.I.
You don't like State of Play?
Nah.
Les Mis, I don't like, but it's Les Mis.
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't count. I don't do the musicals at all. So
I can't stand that fucking movie. But there's a little. It gets spotty. The Nice Guys is great.
Nice Guys is great. It's fucking great. I love it. I need to rewatch it just cause.
All right, James, you want to talk about American Gangster?
He was in the Heat remake, right? The Heat remake.
He's fucking this all the way up. Go ahead.
No, you know what you want to talk about?
Which one am I talking about?
Den of Thieves.
You talking about Gerard Butler?
Oh shit.
Yeah. I knew exactly what he was doing.
I always confuse him too, dudes, bro.
I knew exactly what he's doing.
I confuse him.
I'm gonna be honest. I get confusing them. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of get confusing them, even though like
it's like when you say like, nah, it's not them. It's like, oh, you know what? You're right. My bad.
Yeah, the movie Greenland. It's like an end of the world movie with Gerard Butler that came out a couple years ago. Actually, really good. If you haven't seen it, it looks like it's gonna be shit. It's really good.
I want to watch that. Okay.
One of the best ass movies I've ever seen. Can I talk about American Gangster for a second? My issue with American Gangster. Shut up. My issue with American Gangster.
No, we're not doing this.
No, come on. No, I have to. I have to. No, I have to. I have to do this.
Too.
Fuck y'all. I have to do this.
Keep it short.
I will keep it short. I will keep it short. American Gangster, the issue with American Gangster is the issue that you have with a lot of other. Fuck you. You're only making this worse. So the issue with American Gangster that I have with almost every representation of black people in these movies is that we have a lot of guys, the same way the Italian mob or anything does, that deserve movies. Frank Lucas, Frank Matthews, Melvin Williams, Nicky Barnes, a lot of them. Why can't we just make the movie about them? Why do I have to watch the movie through the eyes of the white cop that nobody gives a fuck about? Why are we green booking a motherfucking gangster movie? Give me Denzel. He can't carry a flick. It's the same thing with Training Day. Why the fuck do I need, like, as much as I love him, why do I need, what's his name? White boy.
Ethan Hawke.
Why do I need him? Like, just give me the fuck. I want to see what happened in Vegas. Give me the story of him. Give me the Lonzo story. Why do we always have to do it from a white person standpoint? They can stand alone. And to me, American Gangster is constantly doing that. Every time that Frank and Denzel is doing something great, Idris Elba, the fucking ensemble of his family, I can't pronounce his name, but fucking Mordo. Mordo. T.I.'s doing okay. Like, why do I need to go and what? I need his fucking divorce storyline? I need to spend time in a courtroom with fucking Russell Crowe when motherfuckers shipping drugs in fucking coffins across the world? We don't want to talk about the genius of that? That's my issue with American Gangsters, the issue with all these black women. Just give us a fucking movie.
That's fair.
Who directed the movie?
That was what's his name? Fucking goddamn it!
Come on, you know. I know who it is, but I want you to say it.
Nah, I mean it's on the tip of my tongue. Fuck.
Who did the Gods of Egypt movie?
I'm not talking about that one.
Who did Alien?
Ridley.
Right. Exactly.
I like Ridley.
That's all I got for you. Exactly.
But I like Ridley.
I like his movies.
I love Ridley. I love Tony. I love Tony Scott. Tony Scott's underrated shit.
I look at Ridley the same way I look at Scorsese. Great filmmakers. They don't like niggers.
No, hold on. There's a difference between Scorsese and his movies being about white people. Yeah, American Gangster is about the black guy.
They don't like to make films about niggers.
It's so annoying.
That's it.
The Green Book of gangster movies is American Gangster. Who's where are we at?
There, number 4 now.
Number 4, James, you can go.
All right. So, number 4 for me is going to be Pulp Fiction. Like, I had it interchanged between like number 3 and number 4, but I put it number 4 just based on our pre-pod conversation. In regards,
I don't think it counts, just for the record.
Yeah, that's why I moved it to number 4.
Okay. I think it's a great, fucking great.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest.
I used to have the wallet. It's gone.
I still have the wallet.
I still have it. It's not used.
It's not in my rotation. It's in my backpack with some of the cards of like memberships that I don't use all that often. It's my backup wallet. Yeah. It's my backup wallet.
Yeah, I got multiple wallets.
Yeah, you ever get like membership cards or cards that you don't need to use? I do that.
Oh, no.
I don't, but I just kept the bad motherfucker wallet because it says bad motherfucker.
I love that wallet. I got the black one though. I didn't want the brown. The black one.
Yeah, I had it. It lasted. I got the brown. It lasted for a long time.
I saw. Yeah, it's a great wallet.
Almost 10 years. But yeah, so I respect that. Pulp Fiction. For me, number 4, Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a classic. I think it's self-explanatory. It's up there. It's got to be, I think, in everybody's at least a minimum of top 4, top 5. You know, just a fucking insane cast. Pesci, De Niro. He just passed. What's his name? Ray Liotta. Obviously Scorsese directed. Just a fucking great film front to back. It's one of those things that if it's on, I'm gonna watch it. Doesn't matter where. I'm gonna take a peek. I'll stop and finish the fucking movie. And I don't know the actress's name, and forgive me. But the one who plays Ray Liotta's wife,
Lorraine Bracco.
Right. Okay. Because she's the
Dr.
therapist in The Sopranos. She was great. I love her in the film. Goodfellas is just a classic. That's all. I don't have much more to say than outside of that.
Karen, why'd you do that, Karen?
That was a funny.
It's great. Goodfellas is my all-time favorite movie. It's my number one favorite movie of all time. It's not my number 4. But it's my number 3, so I guess I'll talk about it number 3 after I get number 4.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 4, Once Upon a Time in America. This is a Sergio Leone movie. If anybody knows, like the Dollar series, Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Sergio Leone, absolutely. This is his last movie he ever made, 1984. De Niro, James Woods. Absolutely incredible movie. And the reason I look at it and hold it in so high regard is that it's the anti-Scarface. In the sense of there's no glorifying these guys at all. They are pieces of shit. They stay pieces of shit throughout the entire movie. It's about greed. It's about what it is that they want in their particular thing. There's no glorifying of it. It follows the Jewish mafia over 4 decades. It's an incredible film. I think it gets overlooked a lot because the theatrical release, the studio butchered the shit out of it, cut like 3 hours or like 2.5 hours out of the fucking movie. It just ruined it. So there was a lot of people that just kind of wrote it off. But it's a movie that have either of you guys seen it?
No, but I know, I know what it is.
Yeah, it's been one that's been consistently coming up.
It's absolutely a must watch. I won't talk about too much of it because I want you guys to see it if you haven't. But Sergio Leone is just batting. It gets deeper the more you think about it. There's some ambiguity with some of it too. It's a great let's have a conversation about it movie. It's one of the great ones on that. But my number 3 was Goodfellas. There is no movie to me. So number 4 for you. Goodfellas, like I said, my favorite movie of all time. This is Scorsese's probably best film, in my opinion. I know some people might say Raging Bull, and I won't argue too hard on that. Some people think more of a personal standpoint is Silence. I'd probably say Silence is my top 3. But this is, look, there's sort of glorifying in that, but it's like glorified from the everyday guy standpoint. Like you're never going to get that far high. And Henry Hill, being that he's a real guy and how fallible he is and how he makes dumb decisions, but it's always understandable. He's just a dude. He's just a guy that wants to do this or wants to do that. It's understandable the entire way through. And it's just so many memorable scenes.
And everybody gets whacked.
You think I'm funny how I say that shit to people all the time, especially when every once in a while you meet somebody that doesn't do it. You can do the whole bit and they freak the fuck out. It's my favorite bit to do.
You're an asshole.
It's impeccable. I did that shit at Geico when I first worked there. This kid Levi, oh my god, I made him. He was so afraid, and like it made it really uncomfortable at the table. But like one person, Chase, knew what I was doing, so he had to get up from the table because he was laughing too hard. But Levi looked like he was gonna piss himself. It was fucking amazing. Hey, you do what you can. And also, Levi's the same one that he asked me if I was a dad, and I said, "Yeah, I have a son, but I don't want to talk about that right now." He said, "What?" I said, "I just told you I don't want to fucking talk about that right now. Like, you want me to go through my fucking custody hearings and shit? Levi, how about you shut the fuck?" And I got up and walked away. Levi started tearing up at the table. I didn't mean to do that to him. It's good. Goodfellas, like incredible movie.
Genuinely cared about your ass. And
I got a lot of stories about that dude. Good guy though, great guy. Goodfellas, amazing movie. Number 3. I really want to see what 3 movies Keem has above it.
I think that's pretty simple if you really think about it. I told you Departed is number 3 for me, but James, why don't you just talk about Goodfellas?
Whoa, Goodfellas. What? Goodfellas? You had The Departed over Goodfellas?
Yeah, it's a personal favorite. It's probably my favorite Scorsese movie.
Huh?
James, I know you got Goodfellas at 3. You talk about it, then we can talk about Departed as a group.
I mean, Kate already talked about everything, so it's cool.
Okay, so the Departed is a personal fave for me. I knew nothing about it going into it, and I think that kind of plays into why I love it so much. I didn't know. I kind of hate like the stereotypical like storyline to certain movies where like you kind of know what's going to happen. I didn't know like this was based off of XYZ and such and so on and so forth. And that probably would have changed my perception of it when I saw it. But it's really the story for me. Love the story. Thought Leo was great. It's a fucking stellar cast. I even like Marky Mark in it. I like Marky Mark in it, and I really,
Wasn't Wahlberg nominated?
Was he?
I thought he did he win?
I mean, he might have been. I don't know. I'm just saying, but typically,
I mean, that's his role.
You don't go to a movie for Mark Wahlberg's acting prowess.
Have you seen Boogie Nights?
Okay. Boogie Nights is good, yes, and he was great in that, and that's just an exception to the rule.
Fuck you.
Matt Damon was good. Obviously, Jack, fucking great. Talking about rats.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking rats.
Sniveling.
Fucking rats.
My favorite thing is knowing how much that was. You know how much that was all ad-libbed, right?
I believe it.
When he drops the gun on the table, it just happened. He accidentally dropped the gun. When he pulls it up and he's so Leo's just, what the fuck is he doing?
And that's why he wiped blood on that 12 years later, and he wipes blood on Kerry Washington. He does the same thing when he fucking breaks the glass in Django. But yeah, so that I just love The Departed from front to back. I love that it's kind of like an unpredictable movie if you don't know what you're expecting going into it. As far as like the way it plays out in the end, you watching a movie like that, you kind of expect Leo to live and them to turn Matt Damon in and him to go to jail, and that's the end of the movie. But no, everybody fucking dies, and it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Have you seen Eternal Affairs yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
And Marky Mark was nominated for Best Supporting Actor alongside Nicholson. They both lost Alan Arkin in Little Miss Sunshine. Understand.
Got a question. Are we on number 2 now for everybody?
Quickly on The Departed. I've seen The Departed more than any other movie ever. It's literally, I turn on the background all the time. Even though at the very beginning, Jack, the way he describes black people in the first 2 minutes of the movie, and then it never gets brought up again, feels really unnecessary.
Though. He feels bad for us. He feels bad for us.
But I just don't get it because it never gets brought up again. Like the only other time the race gets brought up in one of my favorite lines of the movie ever is Anthony Anderson at the Academy. You're a black man in Boston, you need my help getting fucked. Like that's a great line. Yeah. I love Boston. Boston's my second favorite city. It's San Francisco, but cold and racist.
That's why I don't go there.
It's racist San Francisco. I love it. It's The Departed is my most rewatched movie. It's it and Goodfellas. They're really, really high up there. But The Departed, it's nothing to turn it on at any given point in time and just breeze right on through it. It's a great watch. Although Scorsese needs to stop using Give Me Shelter in movies.
All right, so now we're on number 2, right, for everybody?
Yeah, we're on number 2.
Okay, we all have the same 1 and 2, right?
We all have the same number 1 and 2. It's what order do we have them in?
What order?
Yeah.
And I would like to say, because I want to go first on this one. Listen, my number 2 is interchangeable depending on my mood.
Mine switches every few months.
On my mood. But for the most part, this is pretty much the hierarchy of it for me. And number 2 is number 2. It's Godfather. No, actually, I'm just playing. It's Godfather. It's the original. I got that as number 2. And we might as well just talk about it as a collective.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Either I will admit I'm with you. I have 2 at number 1.
2 is at number 1 for me.
It's more ambitious.
Only, and that's it's Bobby D. It's Bobby D. It's the flashback scenes. they just make the story so fucking good. It's fucking, I know, Fredo, I know it was you. You broke my heart. It's fucking, it's just so fucking good. It's just so fucking good. It is really good, man. I might go watch it.
All right. All right, let me say my part. So I have Godfather, the first one, at number 1, and Godfather 2 at 2. But Godfather 2 is probably the best sequel ever.
It is.
Yeah. So like it's no slight to Godfather 2 for me having it number 2, in my opinion.
No, it's not. It's not. Because I could have put 1 at 1.
Yeah.
I like 1 more than I like 2. I do appreciate 1. I like 1 more than I like 2. Although 2, the Fredo stuff in 2, and my favorite thing, which is my favorite scene of acting ever, is in Godfather Part 2, which is Kay admitting to Michael that she had an abortion.
Oh, bruh.
Is my favorite piece of acting I've ever seen in my life. Pacino, you see the look on his face and the rage, and when he just can't help himself and he smacks her in the instant regret, but also like he looks at it like, I need to do that, like you deserve that, but also I'm afraid that I just did that, and what does family actually mean in that moment? There's so much happening. But The Godfather, like I just my dad has been begging me to watch The Offer on Paramount Plus, and I finally started it last night. And it just, the feelings I get about this movie. I still remember the first time I ever watched it. My dad took me to Magliardo's and Sons on Pennsylvania Avenue in Southeast. We got G-Man Subs. There's a sub shop out there. We were talking about Italian movies and shit. And I was like, my dad was like, have you seen The Godfather yet? And I'm like, 9, 10. I'm like, no. He said, all right, shit. So we went to Blockbuster, and it was 4 VHS tapes because they were both on double VHS. And went home. It was middle of the summer, and he's like, all right, homework. I said, what? He put me in my room, had my little G-Man sub, and I watched both of them back to back. Spent my entire fucking day, and my mind was blown. And look, I was too young to fully understand all of it, but like to me, it was kept going back, it kept going back, it kept going back. And it's the only movie to this day, I've seen it so many times. It's not as fun to get through as The Departed or Goodfellas. It's not. Mm. I've never had a movie in which I've seen so many times and I get something new out of it every time I watch it. There's so much there.
Very much so. No, very much so.
It's like 3.5 hours worth.
But dude, there's still, so
do you know?
many.
I know, but like the movie,
you can watch it,
you don't feel like you were there for that long.
But the thing, I've even gone back and I watch it through, and I just try to watch it from the perspective of one particular character. Like I've watched both 1 and 2 strictly through Fredo's eyes, like trying to just put myself through Fredo.
When I watched 1 through Fredo's eyes, after watching like 2, it feels different.
You feel so bad for Fredo. Yeah, just everybody. Fredo needed somebody. Fredo just needed somebody to just put him somewhere. You know what he needed to be? He needed a Tony Soprano to give him like the AJ Soprano treatment. Like here, just be a producer. Somewhere, go do this. Like,
that's what I did.
That's what he did. He's like, hey, go run this club.
That's what they did. They gave him Vegas.
But even with the Vegas thing, even with Vegas, he never really had any real power when it came to Vegas because it was all through Joe Green and all that kind of shit. So it was like a whole stuff. But
Joe Green or Mo Green?
Mo Green, sorry, Joe Green. I'm thinking about the football player. Me and Joe Green. The Godfather is a perfect movie. It is the greatest trilogy of all time. I think 2 and 1, interchangeable 1 and 2, greatest movies of all time, greatest films of all time. Ambitious, the acting. After watching, I'm in the middle of The Offer right now, but if you know the story about how they even made the movie, who Pacino was when they hired him, Pacino in 1 is like my. Just as an acting, like I love everything he's doing. The scene where he's going through the plan of what he's going to do to McCluskey and you see it change, and he's all swollen up from getting beat up at the hospital. That to me is like, holy shit,
man! Moving him from one room to the other.
Oh God, there's so much good in that. But like to me, the dude who's screaming off the screen in 1, Jimmy Caan as Sonny. And the fact that really 1 and 2 are under Sonny's shadow. Because the entire time you're just kind of like, what would happen if Sonny was still there? there's this whole dynamic.
He's a hothead.
He's a hothead, and they're probably worse off. But what does family mean when Sonny's there?
You, Michael. I never wanted.
Never wanted. I should have did this pod with cotton balls in my mouth. Godfather is perfect. It's perfect.
So one of the things, I'll just do my love letter thing. One of the reasons that I love to is because of the dichotomy between Bobby D's, Corleone, and Michael in terms of how they moved, right? When you look at it, they're actually pretty much very similar. I want to say almost exactly the same. They moved exactly the same. The difference being Corleone's wife. Kay was not built for it. She was not built for it. And that was the biggest difference. Because if you look at it, Bobby D, Corleone did some of the same things that Michael did. Dunn did some of the same things that Michael did in terms of how they moved. And it's very tragic because it plays out like Michael doesn't care about family. It plays out like that, but they're very similar in the way that they did. Michael was trying to take it to another level. And
but you could tell she wasn't with the shits.
Different.
You could tell she wasn't with the shits in the beginning of the movie.
Well, she was with the shits because Michael wasn't with the shits. Like the I love that interpretation of it because I think people boil it down too simply as far as the differences between Michael and Vito. It's saying like one did it the right way and one did it the wrong way, and I'm like, that's not how you should interpret this. I love that breakdown. Absolutely. I just want to give you props on that breakdown. I rarely hear that when it comes to two. Yeah, man.
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
How would this have been different if Michael's first wife survived and never got in that car?
Apolloni is 12 years old, and that's a problem. That doesn't get talked about. Apolloni is like 12.
Yeah. Okay, let's say she was 22. Well,
she's not.
I know.
She's absolutely
it would have been very different. It would have been the ideal type of relationship because it's essentially I hate to say this, but there's a controlling element to marrying, to KDot's point, somebody younger than you when you're a man and then you have stature and power and like, especially if he were to take her to America and just kind of let it play out the same way, then he basically, it would play out just like Dunn did, a little bit better. It would fare much better. He'd keep his family together, basically.
Sort of. I also think just times are changing. So there's an element that
the eras are different.
The eras are different. I remember I gave a report in class because one of my favorite, this is going to be kind of controversial. One of my favorite people. No, I'm not going to say that. Not one of my favorite people. Someone whose story I think is very interesting is Fidel Castro in the history of Cuba, and the way that they portray Fidel coming into Havana and the revolution, and knowing from behind the scenes what was actually happening in Cuba that doesn't get discussed too much in popular media, as far as what happened with Batista and coming up. There are historical lessons in the fucking Godfather that are so real. It's just that, like, I think the finest piece of media ever created is The Wire. I really do. But I think The Godfather is the only thing that gives it a run for its money. And I can understand, depending on where I'm feeling, I might switch that up. But it's these things are perfection. There's nothing that I can look at and say I would have improved it this way or done things differently, or I can't wish it. It's the only reason 3 falls out of the running for me, because I really do think of it as a full trilogy, is that the natural progression of the story was Tom Hagen. Was Tom Hagen and how it is he was feeling, and the fact that we never got to see the conclusion of that, to me, is an all-time travesty.
Yeah. And if they would have done everything the right way, how it's supposed to be, I could see 1, 2, and 3 being The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think Tom Hagen.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a cut of the film that plays out linearly.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I think it plays out better the way it came out.
They call it the Godfather saga.
Yeah. Yeah, but it plays out like if De Niro had gotten like Godfather 1, and it kind of breaks it down like as it, linearly. Mm-hmm. And I can appreciate that, but it doesn't touch the original.
It just feels weird. because you especially if you, I could see if it just had come out that way, but if
if you're watching for the first time, like.
If you're watching it for the first time, I still think there's something about seeing the way the characters progress and the way that the movie is unfolded that is good. There's something good about it in that way, and I do appreciate it coming out that way. And I appreciate it. It works. It works. I understand what they're trying to do with the Godfather saga. I'm not a fan, but maybe it's because I've had too much history with it. Maybe you're right, James. But at least we all agreed that The Godfather is the greatest ever. 100%. God damn it.
For sure.
No question.
Fuck this up.
For sure.
Whew. For sure. So, only bad takes of The Irishman is a bad movie, which is a terrible take. And New Jack City shouldn't have been anybody's top 10. Beyond that, I think we did a pretty good job, guys.
Well, you didn't like American Gangster. You didn't think it'd count.
Full disclosure in American Gangster, if they cut out the Russell Crowe scenes, if they literally just cut them from the movie, I'd put it in my top 10.
Okay. But I understand your point.
Yeah, his beef with American Gangster wasn't that it's a bad movie. He just doesn't like the land fair.
Yeah. I hate it. It just, to me, it's a constant reminder that we can have our own stories. We don't need to see it through the white guy's vision. And that's what makes The Wire so good, is that if you honestly think about it, how many movies or TV shows are honestly with a legit budget, believed in, right? Mm-hmm. Star and are through the prism of a black person with white budgets.
I'm gonna watch The Irishman again.
Outside of sports movies, right?
Outside of sports movies are like really bad movies. Like, look, I can appreciate to a certain degree what Precious is a movie. I don't like the Monique. I saw
it one time and I'm not watching it again.
Monique won an Academy Award for being the worst portrayal of a mother in the history of moms. There's nothing good about that. It's fucking trash. I don't like it. Like, I just don't like it. I don't like the way that makes me feel. Like, to me, it's like you have the Italian mobsters that can almost, as much as everybody knows it's not to be proud of, right? There is a sort of respect that is given to those mobsters from that. We all know the names, right? Like, we can name all these guys. People can't really, they don't know Frank Lucas's story, or why does Frank Lewis in the same billing as the FBI agent that would try to catch him? Why? He's Frank Lucas. He's a genius.
You know why.
I do, and that's my issue.
Yeah.
There was a YouTube video that came out. I'm Googling. I had to search my text messages because me and my friend talk about like most movies, all that type of shit all the time. And we really talked about The Irishman heavy. And there was this video that came out talking about like the de-aging software for Netflix, and somebody on YouTube showed that you could have done a better job with literally free software.
Yeah, I know, I saw it.
Free software.
It's rough. I'm not denying it's not rough. I'm not denying it's not rough.
Hey, that's another money laundry.
Before we get out of here, do we have honorable mentions?
I don't.
I did. Where my own?
You know what? Mentions? My honorable mention is Wolf of Wall Street. Damn it.
I'm only gonna put one honorable mention in here, and it's only because I don't think it's had enough time to age, and just give it like, is this really quality? And that's The Many Saints of Newark. I just thought that was a really good film. I don't know if it'll be top 10 or anything like that, but I just thought it was a really good film. It came out recently. As somebody who hasn't even like finished Sopranos completely, and only watched like the first 3 seasons, like I really appreciated that movie more so than the first 3 seasons.
Did you watch that first, or did you watch Sopranos? Were you watching
Sopranos? So I watched the first 3 seasons of Sopranos like years ago, and then I watched Many Saints of Newark recently.
Why haven't you finished Sopranos?
It's not interesting to me. There was no reason. Like when I watch it, it's like I always ask myself, why am I watching it? And it's like it's not like super entertaining. It's like, okay, this is good, but I feel like it falls victim to I've seen the copies that came after it, and they did a little bit differently, and it looks a little bit better, maybe.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
fair.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's bad or anything. It's just I've seen this, and I saw that. You know, like I watched Breaking Bad, and they kind of did it.
I've noticed that with The Sopranos is that it's hard. So I watched Sopranos every episode live when it came out.
Yeah, see, I didn't.
I do think with enough time and enough copycats, it doesn't hit the same way. Like after you've seen Breaking Bad and you go back to Tony Soprano, who's sort of like the ancient version of this, it's rough, I guess, to some degrees, but The Sopranos, I mean, number 2 greatest TV show of all time, but I can understand it being hard to do. Many Saints of Newark, while I did appreciate it as a movie, David Chase is a terrible filmmaker, and it should have been a season or a miniseries instead of a fucking movie to expand on some of the characters. But I loved what John Bernthal was doing. I loved what Michael Gandolfini was doing. I like what a lot of that movie had to do. There are 3 honorable mentions, and it's just to pay homage to the golden era of probably gangster movies, even though none of them made my top 10. Little Caesar, Public Enemy, and Scarface, 1930s. These are all movies after you had the silent kind of gangster heist. They weren't really heist movies, but you had like the gangster black and white movies. Then you have this era where the first gangster movies, like I think the 1930s Scarface is so much better than the 80s version of Scarface. Like to me, it's not even close. The idea that like the main guy, the protagonist at the end, instead of dying in a hail of gunfire the way Tony does, he actually is begging for his life and is running and gets shot in the back. And it's to me, it's like that's how that character's supposed to go. That to me, it speaks to in a higher level. But I love those movies, and it's before things started turning more into like film noir, heist, crime films, and where I think the lines get kind of blurred as time goes on from that. Last thing I wanted to do, and I just want to do it just to get it off. I have a top 10 faves list. I'm just going to run through my top 10 faves because they're a lot different than my top 10 best. Number 10, Untouchables. Number 9, Once Upon a Time in America. Number 8, Road to Perdition. Number 7, King of New York. Number 6, A History of Violence. Number 5, State of Grace. Number 4, The Departed. Number 3, Godfather 2. Number 2, Godfather. Number 1, Goodfellas. That was my faves.
Okay, cool. It was a good conversation.
This is fun. Now we need to figure out whether or not we're gonna let's battle. We're doing a versus Bobby D, Al Pacino.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
And how John Cazale would have been better than both of them if he had lived.
He's limb biased.
Sorta. You watch Dog Day Afternoon, some shit, man. Fredo's Fredo. I love Fredo. I feel so bad for Fredo. I feel so terrible for Fredo. Thinking about Fredo makes me even want to tear up a little bit. Fredo just couldn't help himself, fucking idiot.
Before we go, real quick, who won Heat? De Niro or Pacino? Go.
Pacino. Hold on, is it an actor or the actor. Character? Oh, is it an actor? De Niro.
James.
Tie.
I say De Niro too. So
it's De Niro. Pacino. Here's the thing: they released that movie and they cut out the scenes of Pacino's doing coke, which makes the character make a lot more sense if you realize he's just doing coke the entire movie. Why they cut that from the movie, I'll never understand. Michael Mann, you really need to explain that. Because she's got a great ass. What? He's unhinged.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
My list is best.
Peace.